I love, you open the chapter in the book with a story of Judson van der Venter, who wrote I Surrender All, that amazing hymn. And I love how you set up the chapter so well, because you say it's easier to sing about submission than to actually do it.
Yeah, well, he's writing that song, isn't he? But when God calls him to leave it all behind and go into all the ministry, he's going, really? So that's the challenge, which is what we all find, and that's why I think that chapter is such a good one and such a challenge for us, because you have this encounter with God, or we sing these wonderful things about surrendering to God and giving our lives to Him. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of actually doing it, we found that so hard to do. And I think I slipped in another story in there because I loved playing guitar. I told you I'd just been playing guitar before I was a Christian and loved it.
Yes.
And I'm at a Christian conference. The late Selwyn Hughes is leading it. And it just makes what was, I guess, in his presentation, almost a throwaway comment that he said, about giving and generosity. And the comment he made was, if there's anything you own that you can't give away, you don't own it. It owns you. And are you willing to surrender everything God, asks you to? And I'm like, oh, of course, yeah. I'm like, amen. We believe all that, And so I'm driving home from the conference. I'm in the back of the pastor's car, him and his wife in the front. And I'm thinking, Lord, anything I have. And then the foreboding thought hit me. Give away your guitar. And I'm like, I rebuke the devil in Jesus' name. It was just weird. I'm like, that cannot be God. But anyway, I wrestled with it to give away this scrawny little guitar. It's the only one I had. And I had to do it, Nick. I had to do it. So I gave it to a friend of mine who was learning to play, which really hurt me because he couldn't play very well at all. So, I gave it to him. I remember slowly handing it over the threshold of his front door going, and this is something I'd like to give you. And oh my gosh. But, I did. He was in fact, it was his enthusiasm at getting it that really irked him. He was like, oh, thank you. He reached out with both arms. I'm like, why do you have to be so enthusiastic? But having said that, he took it in and, great. It was a great thing. And I went home thinking, well, I did do it. I mean, it's, as much of a struggle as it was, God, I did it. I've obeyed you. I've given it away. And if that was the thing I struggled with, then, well, I had a victory today, didn't I? And I kind of just left it like that. But then 3 weeks later, some friends from school go, hey, come over for the weekend. And we're having a hangout at their house. The parents taking good care of me. And it's just a great weekend. And before I leave, one of the guys pulls out from behind the piano this beautiful jazz guitar and said, by the way, Doug, since you play guitar, look, I've had this here for ages. I never play it. I'm more of a piano player. But we got this. It's quite nice. But been thinking about it this weekend. Would you like it? I went, wow. Oh. I mean, I've never owned a guitar of this kind of quality. He goes, no, that's fine. Please take it home. It's been just sitting here gathering dust. I learned that lesson. You can't outgive God. And in the moment of surrender, there is real blessing. I'm not going to tell everybody that every act of surrender ends up with you getting something bigger and better. But for me, that was a very powerful lesson that you don't lose by surrendering. You don't, you're never diminished by it.